Hi, Mike here. You're watching Scout Restoration Yukon. In this video, Scout Rear Axle 3, a closer look, I remove and inspect the crown and pinion for the Dana 44. Then I do a hard clean on everything, inspecting as I go and creating a parts list. Bonus, I drill and tap a vent hole in the top of the differential housing. I will show all the details. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Scout Restoration Yukon. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out. Hi, Mike here. You're watching Scout Restoration Yukon. In my last video, we established that the rear axle from a 1966 Scout is a Dana 44 power lock with tapered axles. Now in this video, rear axle 3, I will remove the crown and pinion, clean everything up, inspect all the parts, and create a part list. In other words, I'm going to take a closer look. Let's get to work. Before removing the caps, I'd just like to note that it's already been marked. There's a S here, laying down S here, and a laying down S here, stamped. And on the other side, there's a standing up S and a standing up S. Okay, I'm going to remove the caps with the 3/4 socket, 4 bolts. They're already marked. And here. And here. Right. Now I want to pry that out of there. Put the big bar here. And this try. Of course, the whole darn thing's moving. Set it like that. Now, it's coming out. It's going to crash. Just put a little piece of plywood here. Put some gloves on before I hurt myself. It's coming out pretty easy. Oh, yeah. There. Now, this bearing was on this side. This one was on this side. These bearings aren't in bad shape, surprisingly. If we take a closer look at the crown gear, when we get to the part that was at the bottom in the water, you can see it's badly pitted. So this gear is not reusable. So also the pinion won't be reusable because they're a matched pair. So I need a crown and pinion, and I will replace all the bearings, of course. If you look down here through the side gear, you can see the thrust block in between the two gears. Now I will remove the pinion nut using an 1 1/8" socket. There, I'll just drop that in there with those caps. There's the yoke off there. Now with the nut off and the yoke off, I can remove the pinion. So I did find one shim in there that I put on the pinion. Oh, and I seen another one. I'll just get my big magnet. One more shim here. Now I want to remove the pinion seal so I can get the bearing out. That's really in there. And the cat bar. Here. Like that. There we go. So we have pinion seal, right? And we have a oil slinger, right? An oil slinger that stops the bearing from throwing oil against the seal with force. So we have that. We have the bearing. You can see that this is a good pinion bearing. So just give that race a little bit of a wipe. You know, the race is not pitted. It just shows a little wear. Some of the hard surface is starting to wear off. I'll be replacing all these bearings. I'm just going to split this carrier. Almost forgot to mark it. So I'm making a mark here with my Dremel. I marked that with a carbide bit. Probably should have used the center punch, but anyway, that's marked there. After removing the bolts, this race, I can remove this case half here. I'll set it down here upside down. So these are the clutch plates. They're domed. The dome side goes up toward the carrier case. So I'll just drop that in there. And these are the discs. The same thing. It goes like that. I'll be replacing all of these. Yeah. Anyway, this is the clutch pack here. So we just alternate clutches, Belleville washers, right? And clutches alternating, right? And then they all go together, and it just drops into here like that. If you have all the tabs lined up properly and everything. But it's not important right now. Everything needs cleaned up. Now we have side gear and the spider gears, the cross, all of it together. All of this needs cleaned up too. Set that aside. The other side gear here. The other clutch pack is here. The side gear here. And here we have again. They're dished. Everything just needs cleaned up. It's really dirty. I don't see anything seriously wrong, except I have to replace the crown gear, and I'm going to order this kit. So I'll put a new clutch pack in. As I clean these parts, I inspect them. So I carefully inspect the splines, make sure there's no damaged splines, and they look good. And then this is the tapered axle. And so I'm feeling that for damage. And I don't feel any grooves. Nothing's catching my nails, right? It's just normal kind of wear and tear marks on there, right? Just have to clean out the keyway. I'm cleaning up the taper on the shaft with a piece of emery cloth. I don't like to use power tools for this, and I like to go like I'm doing, going round and round and round and round. It keeps everything uniform and precise. I know there's faster ways of doing it, but this works. Of course, if I had a lathe, I could just put this in the lathe and do this in no time, but I am the lathe. It's the poor man's way, but it's very important to make sure all these surfaces are true. Attention, fellow Scout enthusiasts. Thanks for watching. I hope that you're getting useful insights from my videos. If I can earn 1,000 subscribers, I will be able to create Scout videos for a long time. Please like and subscribe so that we can continue this journey for years to come. I will show all the details. Over and out. So I cleaned up this hub. The keyway's in excellent condition. The studs are good. On the other side, we have a speedy sleeve, which is a good thing. And I don't feel a groove in it with my fingernail. Just keep turning it for a while. You know, you can take things to machine shops, but they're going to take off too much material. Doing things by hand like this takes a little bit longer, but I'm not removing any metal, or very, very, very little. So now I'm taking the hub down to bare metal everywhere, using a die grinder with a wire brush on it. Works quite well. Removing the old paint and the grease and grime so it's ready to paint again. I'm just cleaning up the backing plates. I have to get the rust off there before I paint it. It's worth noting that these backing plates are marked on the part number L for left, and the other one I checked has an R for right. So I don't need to worry about getting the backing plates mixed up. As I've done for every bolt on this entire Scout, I'm cleaning it down to bare metal. These are the bolts for the differential cover. And then I will spray them with self-etching primer and then black paint after that. I'm running a 5/16 bottoming tap through the 10 holes in the casing for the rear cover. Now I'm running a 1/2 inch coarse tap through the bolt holes for the caps for the carrier. Now I've completed what I call a hard clean. I took the axle housing outside, scraped it all down with scrapers, blasted it off with Varsol inside and outside, cleaned inside the axle tubes with a wire brush on a stick. And then I brought it inside and I took a wire brush on an angle grinder, took the whole housing down to bare metal. It's totally clean, ready for assembly. Of course, before pre-assembly, everything gets cleaned one more time. Took the backing plates down to bare metal, ready to paint. The hubs, I did my emery cloth thing. These hubs have speedy sleeves on them. So I cleaned that up a little bit. both axles. I just went over the taper with a emery cloth. It wasn't grooved or anything. It's nice and smooth. I just cleaned it up. I inspected the splines. They're good. I've ordered the tapered bearing and race for each outer axle. I've ordered the outer axle seals, which go into this seal retainer here, which I took down the bare metal and I will paint that. This is the other seal. This is the bearing retainer plate. I've cleaned that up. There's the key. And the crown gear is worn out, so I ordered a crown and pinion. And I ordered the bearings for the pinion, and I ordered a pinion seal, side bearings for the carrier, and I ordered a clutch pack, a kit for the power lock of new clutches and discs. All right. So I think that's about got it covered. So now I'm waiting for parts. This tiny little 1/8 hole in the axle tube on the driver's side, close to the spring hanger, about halfway up, that's the vent hole. That's the factory vent hole. It's only 1/8 in diameter. It's prone to plugging, and also it could leak. Anyway, I'm going to weld that over, and then I'm going to drill a hole in the top of the pumpkin and install a threaded barbed fitting so I can put a hose that goes to the frame to vent the rear axle. So let's get to work. There. That's all it needed. Now I'm going to drill a hole in the top of the pumpkin right here and tap it and put a threaded barbed fitting in there. The first thing I'm doing is drilling a pilot hole. Put a little bit of lubricant. That's pretty darn thick right there. So I'm going to be installing this threaded nipple, and it's 1/8 pipe thread. So for 1/8 pipe thread, I need to drill an 11/32 hole before I tap it. Looks like I gotta go sharpen my drill bit. So I'm using a drill doctor to sharpen the drill bit. So that goes. Okay, back to drilling. Definitely works a lot better when it's sharp. One-eighth pipe tap. There. A little bit of rapid tap on there. So there's a little bit of thread sealer. It's overkill, but anyway. 7/16 wrench. Got my finger underneath. I'm sure this won't protrude, but we don't want it to protrude. And it's not. That housing is very thick right there. So there we have it. A proper vent installed, which I'll put a rubber hose on there up to the frame and clip it on the frame so the water can't get in the diff, but the diff can breathe. In conclusion, I was lucky with all the gearboxes of this Scout. Now, the rear axle needs a lot of work. All the parts are coming. However, it's fortunate that the housing, axles, gears, spider gears, and crosses are all in very good condition. In my next video, Scout Rear Axle 4, bearings, I remove the pinion bearing races from the case. I do a final pre-assembly cleaning. I install the new races. Then I remove bearing cones from the case halves. Finally, I install the new cones with shims. I will show all the details. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Scout Restoration Yukon. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out.